What's going on, guys? Alex here with TFL Bike with some exciting news because Aprilia just dropped their all-new 2021 Tuono 660. It's their all-new street-focused naked sport bike in the middleweight segment. It's taking on an extremely popular category. There's so much competition in this segment. I'll get to that in a little bit. But it uses the legendary Tuono name, so it better be good. Let's get into all the details of this bike. So this new Tuono 660 is based off of the new RS 660, which debuted last year and made its rounds at the end of 2020. That's their new parallel twin track bike. The Tuono 660 is kind of the brother to that RS 660. Think of the RS 660 as the track-going version and the Tuono 660 as the street-going version. And then because it uses the Tuono name, it's kind of like the child of the Tuono V4. So the Tuono V4 is the crazy powerful V4 powered naked track bike. It's basically like the RS V4 but stripped down, more upright seating position, and this kind of takes the same approach in the middleweight segment. So same engine and kind of the same setup as the RS 660 but more upright and more set up for the street. We knew this Tuono 660 was coming for a while. Aprilia kind of teased it when they were announcing the RS 660, and there will be more to come using this platform. There should be an adventure bike that uses the same platform coming later this year, hopefully. So yeah, visually, it looks pretty similar to the RS 660. You can definitely tell that these two bikes are in the same family, but like I said, more upright. So the Tuono 660 uses a handlebar, whereas the RS 660 uses clip-ons. You're more hunched over on the RS 660. There's also a slight geometry change up front due to kind of a revised angle in the triple clamp, so the forks sit a little bit differently, and it's not major. You can kind of see it if you look at the two side by side. Just a little bit of a different geometry change up front. So obviously, being a naked bike, the Tuono 660 is stripped of a lot of its fairings, but you can still tell that it's a very similar design to the RS 660. So very similar front end, similar headlight design, and you get the really cool same double fairing technology that Aprilia introduced on the RS 660. So not only does it look really cool, it provides downforce and increases stability at high speeds, and also routes hot air away from the rider. So I'm interested to try that out. According to Aprilia, you should stay pretty cool on this bike due to the double fairing. And now, before we get into some of the more technical details and some of the other differences between this Tuono 660 and the RS 660, let's take a look at our sponsor, Rider Justice.
How's it going, everyone? This is Case from TFL Bike with our Ride Smarter Tip of the Month, brought to you by Rider Justice. We all know riding two-up is one of the great aspects of riding a motorcycle. But did you know that your insurance may not cover your passenger, or that insurance coverage can differ if your passenger is married to you or not, or that your passenger may not be covered if you caused the accident? Neither did I. That's why you want to make sure you carry a healthy amount of uninsured/underinsured coverage, as well as liability insurance. Shoot for at least $250,000 of uninsured coverage and more if you can afford it. On most premiums, that works out to a couple extra bucks a year, and it's worth it to protect you and the ones you love. To learn more about how to ride smarter with common sense tips anyone can follow, go to riderjustice.com, the champions of biker rights, on the road, in the courtroom, and now across the country.
All right, as far as the engine goes, this uses a very similar 659cc parallel twin that the RS 660 also uses. It sounds great. I haven't ridden it yet, but it's supposed to be a blast and give you lots of power where you need it on the street and not be too intimidating. It's a little bit different than the RS 660 engine. It has shorter final drive gearing, so that should give you better acceleration and a little bit more punch on the street versus the RS 660, where you have to wring it out a little bit more to get your power. 95 horsepower, and it weighs 403 pounds. 95 horsepower is pretty good. That's compared to the 100 horsepower you get in the RS 660, so just a little bit detuned, but not too much. The rest of the components are pretty much exactly the same as you would find on the RS 660, so Kayaba suspension, Brembo calipers with 320mm discs, a radial master cylinder, and steel braided brake lines. So lots of good performance parts to get you down the road, stop you real quick. Should be a really high performing bike. In this Tuono 660, you get the same exact APRC electronics package that you would get in the RS 660. That stands for Aprilia Performance Ride Control and includes adjustable traction control, anti-wheelie control, cruise control, an up and down quick shifter, engine brake control, and selectable engine modes. There's 3 for the street, 2 for the track, and then you can select a customizable setting as well to really fine tune your settings. You do have ABS, and all those technology features are controlled using a really nice looking TFT dash up front. Overall, I think this is a really cool looking bike. I thought the RS 660 was just amazing looking when they first dropped that. I'm a big fan of naked sport bikes, so this has the same style and a more upright seating position. I'd really love to get on one of these. A couple weeks ago, Case and I did a list video where we went through our top 5 bikes for each of us that we were most excited to ride in 2021. The RS 660 was on there for me, and if this bike was announced at the time we made that video, this might take its place. So I want to get on one of these 2 bikes this year, whether it's the RS 660 or the Tuono 660, I don't really care, but people have been raving about them and I'm dying to try them out, both on the track and on the street. Now for pricing and availability, the new Tuono 660 will start at $10,499. That's a little bit less than the RS 660, which starts at $11,299. It'll come in 3 colors: Concept Black, Iridium Gray, and this really cool Acid Green. I think that's the one I would go for if I was getting this bike. It's kind of that high-vis color. Super cool looking. It's an extra $200 if you want to go for that paint scheme, and it will be arriving at dealerships at the end of Q1 2021, so just a couple months away. This is one of the most crowded segments in the industry right now, so Aprilia has a lot of competition. They really have to nail this bike if they want to sell a lot of them. You've got the extremely popular Yamaha MT-07, the all-new Ducati Monster and Triumph Trident that I recently made videos on both of those right here on this channel, TFL Bike. You've got Honda's CB650R, the Z650, Husky's pair of 701s, the Brutale 800, the BMW F900R. There are so many bikes to choose from, and price-wise, I think this Aprilia falls kind of where it should when you look at the rest of the competition. So it's definitely on the higher end of things. It's more expensive than the European and Japanese competition, but quite a bit cheaper than the Ducati and the MV. So you got to pick and choose what you want, but at least on the Aprilia, you get what's supposed to be a really good engine and really high quality suspension, brakes, and electronics package to go with that. So there you go, guys. That is the 2021 Aprilia Tuono 660, a bike that I would really love to get some seat time on and take around our track here at IMI. I think these middleweight naked sport bikes are a great option. They're beginner friendly, so you can get on one of these and not be too intimidated and also not outgrow the power of your bike in a couple years versus if you started on something like a 300. It's also good for experienced riders. I know a couple guys who have been riding for a really long time and they love the MT-07 just because it's a small bike that they can really thrash around and practice wheelies on. And yeah, the middleweight segment is just blowing up. There's so much competition, and that's a good thing. That just means we're all gonna get better bikes as a result. So there you go, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this bike down in the comments below. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one.